What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to go over how to create this bottom pop-up modal, and you'll be able to either click away to dismiss it, or if it's up you can hit this button on it and it will also dismiss it. Pretty simple but also very powerful stuff, so let's get right into it. Alright, so we're here in the trip detail view, which is actually this view of our app. The first thing we're going to do is add the button up here in the navigation, which will actually, when pressed, pop up a modal window. So if you go to your Sliver app bar, which is what this is, or any app bar that you're using, you can go ahead and add an action button for the right side. And with the Sliver app bar, it's just actions here. So we can use an icon button and give that a icon of the settings icon. Then let's give that a color of white, and let's do the size of 30. White will need to be actually colors.white. So if you save that, you see we get that button over here. I would like to add just a slight bit of padding to that as well. So padding will be the just on the right side though. So all right, now we can add the onPressed method to our button. That's going to be, this is what's going to actually pop up that modal. So we're going to create a new widget, or we're going to create basically a new function that will pop up the modal. So that's going to basically just be a function that requires the context of the page, which is this context set up here, this build context. So you can call this whatever you want. It will be specific to just this view, so that's why it's going to start with the underscore, but I'm going to call it the trip edit. Yeah, trip edit modal bottom sheet. Now we can create this. Let's go ahead and do that down at the bottom. So we can start with void here and then paste the name of it from above. And again, it just takes that context. So now within here, we're going to do the show modal bottom sheet. And this we're going to have to pass that context to. And the builder now is going to just be a build context, or yeah, a build context, which we can just call BC for now for build context. And then we can get into this. We can get into this here, and it's going to, we want this to return that view. So let's just call return here, and we'll start with a container. And then we can pretty much return anything we want. I'm going to return, for now we can just, I guess, return text, just so we can see that this is working. We can call this, because in this specific case, it's going to be about editing a trip. So called the text edit trip, and you'll see we need the child element here on that container, semicolon there. If you now click this button, you'll see very, very small down here, it does say edit trip, and the rest of the screen is grayed out. So that looks okay. We're definitely getting some progress. First thing we can do is just change the height of this. So we can call height on our container, and then I want the height of this modal to basically be like half of the screen, or maybe a little bit more. So go ahead and use a media query for this, and we'll need the context of the screen, and then we can just call size height, and then I'm going to multiply it by 60, so it'll give us basically 60% of the height. So now if we click this again, you'll see it takes up about 60% of the height. You can also see this text is very shoved up in the corner here. So the next thing we can do is add padding to the text. So right here, just add the padding, wrap it in padding. Now if you look at it, it looks a little bit better. So instead of having just this text here, let's go ahead and have the text and then also have a cancel button over here so that you could close the modal. Right now you can close the modal by clicking up here, but I think it's just a good user experience to have both options. So basically where we have our text here, let's go ahead and wrap this in a row. And then let's actually wrap this row in a column. So now we have one column with one row. All right, so here we can add that button, which is going to be another icon button. And then for the icon, we'll just give it an we'll do the cancel icon here. And then for the color of this, let's make it orange, and then the size can be 25. All right, and this will also need an on pressed, and the on pressed for this is going to be pretty simple. This is basically this window, this modal window is just another view on top of our current view. So if we use our navigator, and then we can do of context, which will be the context of our screen, and just pop off this newest view, or widget rather. It's probably better to describe it as a widget because it's really just this container. This show modal bottom sheet is pretty much creating a widget that's right on top of our other view. But anyway, if you click this now, you'll see we have that edit button, and if you click that, it goes away. And it's definitely the button that's working, because if you click elsewhere on this screen, the modal does not go away. One thing is I want this edit button to be to the right here. So to achieve that, it's pretty simple. You can just add a spacer in between the text and the icon, and that spacer will then take up the width of that, basically the middle width of that, because the spacer itself is like a flexible widget, so it will take up the most space it can. Cool, this looks good. Now right below this whole row, which just has the edit trip and then the icon there, I want to add another row and just go ahead and give it for now the text of pretty much, and we already have this text written. I want this text right here that just gives the name of the city. So we can find that up here. It is our, because I will have it styled the same way. It is the, pretty much if you search for title, yeah, right here, this text widget with the title and the green will actually go inside of that. So now if you save that, you'll see edit trip and the title. I'm not going to go over exactly how to edit the title right now. This video is just to demonstrate how you can use this bottom sheet modal. So this can go anywhere in your, you can create this for any type of action in your app. It's basically just a button, something pops up, you can have information here, and then you can cancel it and close it out. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you found it a bit useful. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, ciao for now.